Going live. We're doing it live. Are we live? Could
We're
be
live. Of course. And now our dog is coming back.
Yay.
Hello.
Wait. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Here, put this over there.
Okay.
Before she crushes it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Sorry. Come on. Up here. My gosh.
Okay. The dog is insane. Welcome to our...
Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
We're back live. You gotta lean in higher. Lean in more. He's trying to get in there. Watch your head.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Griff. Welcome back. It's been almost a month, I think, since we've done a live stream.
I think it's been...
Because the last live stream thing said 128.
Yeah.
It's 126. So,
No, yeah.
yeah, it did.
We're not mathing over here today. We're not doing that.
Anyway, hi, Frank. Hi, Neil. Hi, Brad. Hi, Greg. Ooh, Omaha's in the house. Anyway, hello, Tool Freds. That's right. So, we are back, and we are mostly healthy?
Mostly healthy.
Mostly healthy. It's been a rough month. So, we did the move from Montana down to Vegas. That was rough. And then, immediately that same week, we went and did the National Hardware Show and did a bunch of stuff there. And I don't think we got it from the show.
Nope.
Because it happened that next weekend. And so we got neurovirus. And when I say we, I mean the whole RV got it. Because when you're in a small area like this, it's kind of like a socialist kind of setup where everyone shares. And that was unpleasant.
Yeah. Incredibly
unpleasant. And then just as I was I just recovered from that. And then I went and I shot a bunch of videos. And then, was it Griffin got sick first. No, Elle got sick first with the second one.
Elle got sick first with the second one.
She got that, and then 2 days later, everyone else had it. And this one was like, it was like a head cold that left you feeling like you'd been hit by a Mack truck. Just, not even that, like you were dead.
And I will be honest, like, there was a point in the sickness where I'm like, is this COVID? Well.
Yeah, we tested multiple times.
Yeah, that was not it. I just realized. Normally I try not to actually say the thing.
Yeah.
But no, that was not it. It was just us being extra lucky and winning the sickness lottery twice.
Yeah. Like, at this point, I still have a little bit of sniffles, get some drainage. But honestly, I feel like I could go to bed right now. I am that tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been ridiculous. It's the kind of feeling like you're sitting there, you're like, I feel okay. And you go stand up and you're like, I'm not okay. Yep. I'm like, well, I'll try to work on a video. And then I tried to put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, what am I doing? Yep. I don't remember what I'm doing. Maybe I should just stare at the wall. So It's been a hard month. And I realized that, we have missed a lot of the live streams and other videos and stuff. And a lot of people have been worried and reaching out to us. And I'm really sorry. I posted something in the community section saying that we were out sick again. But see, there it is. A little bit of the congestion trying to get. Yeah, let me just do this real quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, should be back up and on. We'll have deals of the week. You know it's bad. You know how sick I was when I didn't get deals of the week out. That's when I always try to put, even if I'm dying, I try to get that one out. And I just couldn't focus enough to get it out. But we'll be back tomorrow with that, and we should be back on our regular schedule. Let's see here.
Ellen's Jeep stuff.
Matthew says, Bear Family is back. And let's see here. Hold on here. We got a couple of... Neil F., welcome, Cub. Oh, and John says, welcome to Cub.
Thank you. I think Neil was a member.
Yeah, I think
rejoined.
so. Re-upping. And I think John was too.
So I know a number of people that happens, and we are always so happy to see you join.
We really appreciate the support, especially in months like this.
My brain is bananas.
Hire a member for 1 month.
Hey!
Actually drove about 9,600 miles on a Triton engine before changing oil. Don't be like me. Most motor oil, synthetic or not, will give out about the same duration. I was very fortunate. That's a lot of miles, especially on the Triton engines. They've got, if I'm remembering the Tritons correctly, they're the ones that have the super small oil channels in the engine block, and they can gum up really badly to the point where it's just, you got to chuck the engine. There's no point in even doing a rebuild because those channels are embedded into it and you can't work around them. Chris, welcome, Cub.
Welcome.
Frank,
I
yes?
was going to say, Christina Marie, I see your comment and says, hi guys, I finally got notification you are live. Yes, and I will reach out to you. I have been avoiding it because, as we were saying,
we've been
sick twice, and we didn't want to share with anyone. So, super love you, super glad you're here, super glad you're getting your notifications. Just a reminder, if you don't get notifications from us, check and see if YouTube has unsubscribed you.
As she says later, can't wait till you guys are back in Vegas. We're back in Vegas,
but we were sick. So I will reach out to you this week, and we love you, and hopefully we will see you soon.
Yeah. It's been
sorry.
So much
I know
fun.
I was stepping on your comments.
Let's see here. Justin says, good evening. It's been a while. Frank says, we still love you. Michael says, hey kids, can't stay long. Have work in the morning. That's awesome. Got work in the morning.
Inferno224 says, I mean, how was I supposed to get good deals? I think it's the comment about the fact that there was no deals of the week last week.
Hi. I don't need a bath. You're good. No, you're
Obviously, you don't know what you need, and Bella knows better.
Slobber.
Oh, nope.
Dog slobber.
Nope. Negative Ghost Rider. Bella has also missed you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's saying hi.
She's saying hello.
Yes.
So I hope everyone else is doing well. I hope everyone's taking care of themselves, washing your hands.
Say hi to them over there. Over.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Face.
Yep.
Okay. You're in my lap completely now.
She says she sees no problem with that.
Oh, she's just a little teacup Labrador.
Okay, my chat is not updating, so I'm just going to have to look at yours. Did you hear that? Thank you for sharing that with me. If anyone knows me personally, knows that I really do not like dog slobber. Like,
I don't mind it usually, but that was a lot. That was excessive.
Thanks for sharing that with me.
It was a moisturizing conditioner.
So, my chat feature is not working on my phone, so we're going to have to share.
Interesting. Have you tried rebooting?
I'm going to silently tell you that you're number one off camera.
Old Crankman. Yeah. Says Dental's got a bagless vac from the 90s, and it's rare. That sound rare. I can't. I'm gonna have to take this and put it on the bigger screen because I can't read some people's names.
Yeah, and I think that I fixed my thing.
Yay.
Chris, thank you again for joining. And I think that I'm up to date.
Mears Bros says, glad you're feeling better. Thank you. I am feeling better. Let me put it over on this side over here so I can actually see. And then where else do we go? Did you get the free giveaway at Harbor Freight this weekend? Padawan Bob asked. No, I did not. I did nothing this weekend. That's not true. I did go and work on the BMW today. We've got... It's BMW. There's always something going wrong. Now the power steering fluid is leaking. So I think it's... I think the line has dry rotted is what I think is going on. So we went and tested it, and it needs a new battery, and it needs to be sold.
Yes.
We would like to buy a 1999 silver BMW 740iL in the Alpina badging.
Yep.
Let me know if you're in the Vegas area. I'll make you a sweetheart of a deal.
I know someone.
It's been owned by a celebrity, allegedly.
Yes.
And it was not Biggie.
I can't believe you just said that.
He's the one who shot in one, wasn't it?
I thought it was someone else, but...
Tupac? Oh, it was a Tupac.
I think it was Tupac.
It was Tupac.
What do I know?
East Coast, West Coast. You know how it goes. Yeah.
That's going on a t-shirt somewhere. I can already see it.
Oh, like we're in Vegas. We got to represent. Yep. We're west of the divide and all that. Let's see here. Mark Olson says, good evening, Bears. David says, I got COVID in the middle of 2 back surgeries. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'm recovering from COVID fatigue. That feeling I know. Let's see here. Where else do we go? Matthew says there's been something or other going around me for a while. At least a lovely cough, usually late in the day, lingers. Yeah, that's kind of the way this is. Like early, like morning. Morning, I wake up with a little bit of sniffles. The other thing is we've got. So we're in the desert here in just south of Vegas, and all of the desert flowers right now are blooming. And a lot of people think, oh, the desert, there's, you don't have to deal with pollen and stuff like that. Yeah, no, you do. In fact, the pollen here is really thick. It's a thicker pollen than you get like in the north and the Midwest and even the East Coast. It's really heavy. And it's nasty. And so I've been taking my allergy meds on top of it. But about this time in the evening, my voice gets all husky and gravelly. She loves it. Greg says, just like an IT guy, did you reboot? The motto is, when in doubt, reboot. Military retired home projects. First time join the chat. Well, welcome here.
I love the screen name.
Yeah. Speaking of military retired, I don't know if you ride or not, but we had some of the brothers from the who was it?
I can't help him out. My brain's mush.
See, my brain is mush. The motorcycle club that was in town. It was the. What do Muslims call somebody who doesn't believe?
Infidel?
Infidels. Thank you. The infidels. For those of you who don't know, they look like a 1%er club, but they're not. They're ex-retired military, ex-military, and I think contractors is what they allow.
I was thinking of all of the other Islamic things I could think of.
Yeah. They, if I'm not mistaken, they do whatever the big Muslim holy day is. They always throw a giant
Ramadan.
It might Ramadan's the whole month, but anyway, they do a big pig barbecue on that day. Anyway, let's see, where else was I? Owen's Jeep Stuff says, sadly, I can't stay. I have an early start tomorrow for work. We totally understand. You have a good one there. What do you think about the Horse Day on eBay? I don't know.
Do they maybe mean Hornady? No.
I wouldn't buy behind Hornady off eBay. Oh, maybe if it was a loader. But anyway, I kind of think I know who you're talking about, but I haven't seen them on eBay so much. I thought I saw them on Amazon. But honestly, I'm so fuzzy right now. I don't want to make a guess.
We're super together.
Mira says, have you seen the new M12 band file? I did. Actually saw it in person at SEMA back in November last year. It's cool. I mean, if you need a finger band file kind of thing like that, I could definitely see it. Way more convenient than hooking up an air hose tool to it. Where are your old man glasses? They were right. Oh, sorry.
He doesn't know because he's not wearing them.
You know what? I need my glasses. Find my glasses there. Is that better?
Joshua, welcome to the den.
Problem is, my glasses only work till here. And now I need to be able to see. I also need a haircut. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I just found my trimmer, so in the whole move thing, they kind of got misappropriated. So, anyway, what did you say?
I was welcoming Joshua.
Robinson. Joshua. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, did you get the prison bus? We did not get the prison bus, and I've been meaning to do a video follow-up on it. It ended up going for $2,800. With fees and everything, would have been right around $3,000. It was sorely tempting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorely tempting.
Especially with a toilet.
Yeah, but it was just... if we were back in Montana and it was the sale in Montana, we probably would have bought it. But here we would have to figure out how to, trying to get it back in the whole 9 yards, and it was just too much. And we got other projects and stuff. We gotta get this BMW sold. Once we get the BMW sold, then we're probably gonna have some more fun kind of stuff we can do. Did you get anything exciting at the auction? No, I'll be honest. And poor Duncan, who we were looking at a truck for him, everything went for ridiculous prices. In fact, I'm planning to do a video recapping it because I think it was really interesting, especially for those of us who were into the diesel pickup trucks. For those of you who don't know, I have a 2014 Ram 3500 Cummins with the Mega Cab. And, my son, he's been borrowing it so he could drive it all over town. What?
I'm just thinking.
Okay.
I was thinking about the auction. I was honestly thinking about how well I felt like the preview day went. Like, it felt pretty efficient.
When we went up there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did go and look in person, and we got, they checked out keys, we started trucks, and I was really impressed because, you see the pictures and they look rough. And you get there, I mean, some of them were, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were actually really clean. Like, they had paint damage and stuff like that, but the bodies were straight. Mm-hmm. They had some nice toolboxes on a bunch of them, stuff like that. But, oh my gosh, the anything that said Cummins was just insanely priced. In fact, there was one I was actually looking at, and I'm like, well, this thing's going to go for cheap. It had no catalytic converter. And Nevada's a state where you got to have catalytic converter to register it, and there's not a lot of farms per se where you're going to be running it, off streets and stuff. And I figured, this thing's going to go for. It was a stick. It was I think it was the 6.7. It might have been the 5.7. Anyway, but yeah, it was a stick, and it was beat. There was not a section of the body that did not have damage on it. The bed of the truck looked like a giant had reached down and grabbed it and just crunched it. It had a mismatched color rear door. The interior was thrashed. But I was like, you know what? For an around town truck back in Montana, that would be a great little beater for a hunting truck. It's got the Cummins that I like. It's a 4x4. It's a 250 or 2500. I could do some stuff with it. Maybe we'll get a new bed for it. We'll work with it. I'm like, it'll go for cheap. It didn't go for cheap.
No.
And the one thing I thought for sure is because it didn't have that catalytic converter, a lot of people would be like, well, I can't. Well,
they would factor it in when they're purchasing it.
Yeah,
how much they'd be willing to spend.
Because they'd have to bring down the price on it because they'd have to buy that to replace it. But for me in Montana, where we don't have that sort of thing, I'm like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And it did not end up going for cheap. The only thing that actually ended up going for a reasonable price was a Ford 2500 with the 6.0 engine in it, which unless you're going to pay $3,500 to get it bulletproofed, it isn't worth having. And even that, I think, went for like $3,600. There was one that was parked right next to it, looked identical. And it was the 7.3. And it was 1 year earlier. So instead of the 6.0, I had the 7.3. And it was staying cheap. And in the last 2 hours of the auction, I think it hit $5,000 or $6,000. Which honestly, some of them went for prices where, you know what, I could see that, but it was more than we wanted to spend at the time. Mm-hmm. But honestly, a lot of these were going for straight Blue Book, which just blew.
Yeah.
And I'm talking.
It was bananas.
I'm not talking like dealership Blue Book. I'm talking person to person, full, paying the full amount, not reduced for paint damage or anything else.
Went for like $18,000 or something, and I was like, who was buying this?
Well, there was a Ram. I think it was a 2500. Might have been a 30. No, it was a 2500 with the 6.7, and it was a 4-door. It wasn't the quad cab. It was the full 4-door, and it went for $27,000 to $28,000, which was within spitting distance of what we paid for our truck. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I thought used car prices had gone down. People just lost their minds. Anyway, I've ranted about the auction enough. Do you enjoy the snow in Vegas? We got, let's see here, 2 weeks ago, we got an inch of snow. So we're just over the pass here over in Boulder City. And we got an inch of snow here at the RV park. And then this morning when I pulled out, you could see the mountains just across over in Arizona, and at first I thought it was back home in Montana.
It started snowing yesterday before it started raining cats and dogs and donkeys. It was raining really good yesterday.
Raider Blue says, leaking power steering, you mean the BMW undercoating option?
Yes.
It's like that. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. New Harbor Freight flyer for the parking lot. I did see that, yes. And I'm going to be doing a video on that, so giving people a heads up on what we can buy and what can't.
Chris, with the $4.99 super chat, thank you so much. It says, good evening all. Friendly reminder to chomp the like button and all of the YouTube things.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope that you are doing well. I'm not sure if you are on... I think that you have better internet when you are at work, but it could be totally wrong. Anyways, hope you're being safe and having a great weekend.
I just have to say this also before we go into anything else. So February is our birthday month. Her birthday and my birthday are both in February. We're both Aquarii. Is that Aquarius's? Aquarii? I don't know. And she always laments that she can never get me anything for my birthday or for Christmas or anything else. I'm terrible to buy presents for.
He is horrible.
Which is true. It is. Because if I want something, I just buy it for myself. And if I don't want it, I don't buy it. And so don't buy it for me because I clearly don't want it, or ergo I would have bought it. And I don't collect a lot of things. But there is one thing that I do collect, sort of. I'm not an aficionado. And I want to say this, and I know a bunch of people are going to freak out like, oh, you have to blah, blah. Okay. I collect wood duck decoys. But I'm not like, so-and-so who carved them, with a butter knife and... No. I have no idea who any of the artists are. I get them at like garage sales and stuff like that. I don't pay a lot of money for them, but I see one and I'm like, oh, I like that one. I'm going to snag it. I'm not going to, one of these guys is going to pay $750 for a select, limited edition, Duck Dynasty or whatever. But, and only the wood ones, none of the plastic or any of that kind of stuff. But they found something for me. And because we're in an RV, so my duck collection cannot travel with me. Not that I don't even have an extensive one. I probably have like a handful or so. But they got me this.
It's a little tiny one. And I have to say that I cannot take credit for it.
I love this. This is great. Then you just sit around, you can sit on my computer or whatnot.
We did come back with a number of other ducks as well.
They did. They got this in San Francisco. They came back with... We paid for this with luggage because they had to pay for a checked bag so they could bring back 40 of these little buggers. What were you thinking?
Don't be salty.
What were you... Surfboard duck, I get it.
They're all different kinds.
There's duck.
They're from that famous place.
They won them at the Fisherman's Wharf at the Vintage
Arcade.
I don't know what
it's called. Yeah. Which is super cool. If you ever go to Vegas, not Vegas.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. If you ever go to San Francisco, you should definitely check it out. It is super cool. And they have, most of them, you just put a quarter in.
It is actually a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do down there. You can go down there, you can do that. You can go smell the seals.
We went and spent time with the seals.
Yeah, the sea lions, actually. Mm-hmm. The food's good. The food in the area is really good. I found a new sushi place. And then there's the submarine. I know.
Griffin really wanted to go. Elle, not so much, so.
And they did go to Alcatraz.
Yes.
Which is funny for as much I spent 20 years in San Francisco, and I did go to Coit Tower, but only because I was taking somebody who was from out of town. I've driven across the Golden Gate, never walked it. I've sailed around Alcatraz several times on my sailboat, but never been on Alcatraz. Anyway, I'm trying to think of other touristy stuff I've never done there.
It was really cool.
Munchie says, you could have only one tool, what would it be? If I could only have one tool, probably a Leatherman. And it would suck, but at least it could do stuff. BMW do an LS swap. actually, the engine's fine. It's got this great 8-cylinder that just purrs. And when you drive this thing, when there's power steering fluid, it's like driving just a luxury race car. It's fabulous. It literally, it's when you drive this and everything is tuned up and everything's right, you just sit there and you go, oh, BMW, I get it. This is why people love BMWs. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it is one of the most beautiful sedans you could actually look at. It's just gorgeous to look at. Honestly, it's too small. It's too short for me. And with my knees trying to get down in it, I need an SUV we keep a second vehicle down here. So we drive one vehicle down and then we have a second vehicle while we're here. And we just need something that's bigger that everyone can ride around in. And has good air conditioning. This has good air. The BMW has good air conditioning. It's just too small. Neil says, welded with a Vulcan Pro TIG 205 and was surprised. Pretty good for the cost. Still got to be a Miller fanboy as the Vulcan is small for what I do. Speaking of Miller fanboys, so at the, going back to the auction, there was, I think it was a Lincoln or a Miller, I don't remember which one, but there was a large gas-powered stick welder on a trailer. Mm-hmm. And it went for ridiculous prices. Frank, another BMW, glutton for punishment. No, this is the same BMW we had before. Did we get the bus? No, we didn't get the bus. New Harbor Freight Flyer is out. Yep. Chris says, I live on Long Island and we're spending the entire winter in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and never had such bad allergies I experienced. That is, especially if you've never been there. Have you been there at this time of year before? Because what I found in moving and living in different areas is if your body's not used to the pollen there, it can be really... it can really do a number on you. When I first moved to Vegas, I thought I was going to die from the pollen here. And it was kind of where you walk out in the morning and you're like, who painted our car yellow? Yeah, I remember that. Here, you put your arm down. I'll put my arm behind you. There we go. Here.
So I can stab him.
Yes.
You can't see.
And Greg, we answered about the auctions. We didn't buy anything, but I'm going to do a recap on it. Michael says, infidels, too bad I have no idea how to operate a motorcycle. No plans on learning. Them things are almost as expensive addicting as boats and other money pits. They are. And boy, that's the other thing. They had 5 Harleys. Yep. And they all went for around $4,000 to $6,000. I think the cheapest one, which was pretty thrashed, was $4,000. And the best one, the one that was in best shape, went for $6,000. Which, honestly, I mean, for that style of Harley of that year would not be a bad price. But these were Cop Harleys, which means they all had like 40,000+ miles on them. And then on top of that, they sat there and idled the equivalent to 2 times that amount. And that's the problem with buying police vehicles. They've got so much idle time on. You have to be aware when you're buying that. And I'm not trying to tell people that they shouldn't buy, police vehicles and stuff at auction.
No, there are great deals to be had. It's just buyer beware. And if you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask, when will the new Harbor Freight open here in Milton? I have no idea. Believe it or not, they don't tell me stuff like that. Brad says, stay away from Ryobi work lights. Got the new single panel and it fried my HP 40 when the battery died. Wow, that's bad. Zap says, Miss Bear, I love it if eBay had a Hornady special on stuff. Not sure why your husband doesn't like them. They make pretty... I didn't say I don't like Hornady. I like Hornady. I just wouldn't have bought it on eBay. The reloading stuff, I want to see it in person if I'm going to buy it. Unless I'm buying new. Joshua Robinson says, thank you. How about the truck for the Cub? Yeah, didn't happen. We're still looking. There's another auction next month in Salt Lake City, so we're going to take a shot at that one. Di says, sorry she's late, just got out of the shower. Richard says howdy, or sorry, she says evening actually. Dale says, new listener, I'm in search for a small chainsaw. Aren't we all? are you looking for electric or gas? And how small are you talking about? Are you looking like Ryobi, what do they call the thing? The Hacksaw kind of small? Military says, bought a house built in 1930. We took it down to the studs and floor joists, used mostly DeWalt Milwaukee tools. We were down to the last room. Wow, congrats. I've done those rebuilds a long time ago. That's a lot of work. And we're getting close to having to do that in the house we're in now. It was built in 1890.
Something.
Yeah.
We don't really
late
know.
1800s. Zap says some auctions go for crazy prices, like more than what costs new, and I've yet to figure out unless they're trying to funnel crime money. I kind of wonder about that, and a lot of people were like, well, it's because you did the video on it. The video only got, it got less than 10,000 views, and most of those people are not going to be in the Vegas area, so they weren't going to bid on it. So I don't think it was me pumping up the prices. I think it was people just going crazy after the winter and wanting to spend some money. And the fact on diesel trucks, but everything went for high prices. It really did. Let's see here. Futon says, went to a truck show today. They were asking $16K for a rusted half-ton 2x4. And they're saying that used car prices are down. What's in the kitchen of tools in 2023? The kitchen of tools. I just got the Lodge carbon steel skillet. So I'm going to compare that to the Lodge cast iron. We're going to see which one cooks a better steak as soon as I'm feeling up to being outside and cooking and stuff.
Whoa, thank you.
Carl says, we need to remember tolerance. We will not tolerate intolerance.
That's right.
No Cata converter and computer mods add $3K to the price. Yeah.
Yep.
The cat on a diesel. Well, it must have been like an old... Yeah, you're right. So why did it say no catalytic converter on that? Because the diesel's not going to have that, is it?
I don't know.
Come on. Did the old 5.7, did the older diesels... Would you mind? Hey.
Calm
Hey,
down.
Nope. Lay down. You're a good girl. Lay
She's
down.
about to leap over you to get in
You're
my
a good
lap.
girl. Just lay down. Lay down. Nope. There we go. Okay. There we go. Settle down.
When I was out with Bella earlier today, I ran into a lady that was out with her dog, and she was convinced that Bella was like a puppy. And she was like, she's so sweet, and she's a puppy. And I'm like, she's 9. Bella just doesn't know.
Rob Jennings says, I have a 93 F350 with a 7.3 IDI that I'm restoring, and people leave notes on it weekly for over 7K, and it isn't even painted. Yeah, especially if it's a 350, because trying to get it... But you know what, I'll be honest, when we were hunting for our truck, I didn't necessarily want a 350, because I thought a 2500 was all we needed. The 2500s sell even faster. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for a 93 F350, I bet you're getting a lot. In fact, I just pulled over today, driving through town, just to look at one that was parked there. Blessed and Happy says, hope you good folks are doing well. I've been out of the loop for a while. Good to see you. Thank you so much. We are recovering from our illnesses, but doing better. Why do you look so sad?
She does look so sad. She's like, but I just miss you.
You got water, you got food, you went on walks. Everything's all good. Look, you're getting pets. There, yeah. I wish you could see this.
She's obviously abused.
She's such a princess. Don't, enough with the licking.
She's like, never enough.
Red says there's a single cab long box 90 F250 4x4 with the 460 out in BC with zero rust for $15K. Yeah. Jim says, looking for a 10-inch table saw suggested for DIYers on a budget. The Skilled 10-inch table saw is nice, but anything less expensive out there. Less expensive. It's not as good a saw, but it is less expensive, and that is the Cobalt with the folding stand. It's going to take some massaging and tuning to get it right, but it's not a bad saw. It's just not a great saw. Michael says, is all this snow, rain going to improve your water situation for the spring? If you like flooding, it is. It's going to be... I mean, if you think about it, southern California just got 6.5 feet. We've been getting... Montana's been just getting slammed. Friends have been calling us and telling us about it. She follows the weather up there all the time. Just weekly, if not twice a week, snowstorms just hitting there. Yeah. They have a huge snowpack. I know. I watched something about Colorado's snowpack. They have a solid snowpack. Their problem, though, is most of that is either north or west of the divide, and the biggest drought area in Colorado, according to this thing, was in the southeast. So unless they get more snow east of the divide and south, then they're still going to have some drought areas. David says, I have 2 siblings, my mom, my mother-in-law, 1 aunt, and a cousin born in February. Oh, my.
We have a lot of February birthdays. On my mom's side of the family, there are 6 siblings, and I think 4 of them have February birthdays.
The PT says, love the Ossicones and Cincinnati chili. She has been learning to make Cincinnati chili and been getting better at it every single time. Greg says, I used to work at Oriental Trading, seen a lot of rubber ducks.
I actually did wonder about that. Like, I was thinking about how much it costs if I just wanted to buy them.
Sorry.
We're going to trade.
Yeah, my rotator cuff is screaming at me. Here, hold me.
I love you.
Make me feel small.
And just drop stuff.
Was that?
That was your keyboard.
Oh.
Nothing important.
Nothing important. Hopefully we're still online. Matthew says, or anyone looking for inexpensive suggestions for a case bag box to hold a 6.5-inch circ saw instead of the cardboard box it's currently living in. There's a lot of like the modular cases, Harbor Freight and Pack Out, and I wouldn't say suggest Pack Out just because of the price, but Harbor Freight, what do you call it? Menards, DeWalt's, the Craftsman stuff. They all have mid-sized boxes that'd be great for stuff like that. And then if you want to expand the system, use it for other things, that'd be a good way to go. Michael says, not a problem. For all the years I lived in New York, I never went to the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, I can see that.
I grew up in the Bay Area and I never went to Alcatraz.
Steve is in the chat. Hey, Steve. I'm guessing you heard what we were talking about with the auctions, so we didn't get anything. What year BMW? It's a 1999 740iL. Excuse me.
Sorry about all our congestion.
Mater's in the house. Hello, Bear Den. Galveston has the battleship Texas right now in dry dock. You can go to Pelican Island to see the Cavella sub and USS Stuart destroyer. That's cool.
Super cool.
Live auction your BMW on live stream. That would be terrifying.
Yep.
When the pollen gets that bad, my allergies are on high. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. And Nova Snick's in the house. Howdy.
Hey.
Mike says, I started frequently going to a restaurant supply store in my town. I'm finding quite a few utensils. You know, that the whole thing. And he says, and other stuff you can repurpose for your shop. A, yes, that's an awesome thing to do. B, I've been meaning to go to one. There is a restaurant supply store in Bozeman that's really easy to get to. It's just off the highway downtown. But then here, I thought, there'll be one like around Henry. There's nothing. No restaurant supply stores anywhere near here.
I'm just saying, if you go to the one in Bozeman without me, I find you.
Well, I got to go to one, and it's probably going to be like one of the ones on the north side of downtown or something. That's going to be a 45. I hate going into Vegas. Michael says, time to snore. Be well, kids. Nice to see you too. Molly Beagle's unchanged. Aww. The antenna project is going well. Good night. Good night, sir. You take care. The Nova Snakes has purchased a Dodge Texas Police Interceptor back in the early 90s. Great car, 200,000 miles. That is awesome.
I talked to a guy here in the RV park.
Yeah.
Who has a truck and he has a fifth wheel attachment dealie in the back.
In the RV park, imagine that.
Yes, amazing. And I was talking to him and he has 600,000 plus miles. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, I got to talk to you about what happened last night. So it's been raining for the past 2 days.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to them.
Okay.
If I was looking at you, I'd be talking to you, but I'm looking at them, so I'm talking to them. See how that works?
No.
Science.
I'm so confused. What? Who are you?
If I show up missing tomorrow. So anyway, ow.
Sorry.
Back
Stop
off.
whacking me.
Stop touching my shoulder.
Stop putting it
It
next to
really
me.
hurts. What was I saying?
Last night, raining.
Yes, we went to the store and came back, and there was this. We pulled up the RV, and there's this noise going beep, 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 and I thought for sure it was the CO2 alarm, and I was worried because Bella was home alone, and I was worried that something happened to her. So I rush into the RV, and open the door, and it's not coming from our RV. And so I stop and I listen, and in the rain, it's kind of hard to figure where sounds are coming from. And high-pitched sounds are less directional than low-pitched sounds. So I finally figured out it's the next RV over. So I go over there, and I walk up to there, and as I'm walking up, I notice it's actually coming from the back of their pickup truck rather than the RV. So I knock on the RV, no answer, which doesn't surprise me because the people next door it's basically they use the RV spot as storage for their electrical company, their electricians, and so I'm like, well, I'll call them. And at that time, when I walk out of their spot, there's a couple other neighbors who've all shown up in the rain trying to figure out where this beeping's coming from, and I give them the heads up. And I'm like, it's their pickup truck. It's something I think in one of their lock boxes or something. Like, okay. So I go and I look up the number of the company and I call them and I get the home, it forwards me to their home number, and I talk to the guy and he's like, oh, it's probably just a couple of old smoke detectors in the back of the truck. So you can go ahead and pull the batteries on those if you want, if it's bothering you. I'm like, it's got the whole neighborhood freaking out, thinking that CO2 sensors are going off. But sure, let me go over in the rain and deal with you. But he wasn't going to come, so I didn't want to lay here all night with it. But I'm like, what an a-hole move. Yeah, you can go do that for me. No, I mean, like, if you'd asked, if you phrased it like, hey, would you mind? It was, we're X amount of miles away, and it just needs to have a battery pulled. I'm real sorry about it. Anyway,
but we handled it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on SK Tools? Well, bro, I will tell you that I was a longtime SK fanboy, and I still can't. I still am. It's. Does that give you an answer what I think about SK Tools? So, that said, would I buy SK Tools right now? And that answer is decidedly no. SK got bought by Great Star, a Chinese company, and I get it. It sucks, and I'm not trying to be biased because of that. But the fact of the matter is the company is having some issues. So they also bought ShopVac and swore that they were going to keep production in the U.S. because they had this whole motto of, we need to be building tools where they're sold. And if you guys didn't miss the news, and I was meaning to talk about it, but I've been sick, and that is that they're shutting down the Pennsylvania plant for ShopVac, and all those people are losing their jobs. So, and SK had moved there. They've taken all the production from Illinois and the Midwest, moved it to Pennsylvania to share the space with ShopVac, and now that factory is shutting down. So are they just shutting down the ShopVac side, and it's going to be just SK Tools, or is all of it going back overseas? And I've talked to the guys at the SK booth in the trade shows that I go to, and basically the answers I get are maybe. They're not being told anything from management. And at this point, I'll be honest, I love SK, but they've had some issues over the past decades. The number one is the thin chrome that chips off and stuff like that. I love their tools. I want to love their tools. I've got old vintage SK that I absolutely love. I would not invest in SK right now. So,
Mark Olson, February 8th birthdays are amazing. I agree. Christina Marie.
Yes. What'd she say?
Says, when do you think is a good time to build an extension / guest room on the house? Wood is still expensive.
And it's only going to go up. Mm-hmm. So, I've been following wood. I'm planning to do an update on that. But there's been a lot of issues going on with wood supply and wood pricing, and the thing is, building is going down. And yet wood prices are going up, and a lot of mills are shutting down. In fact, bad news.
Yeah.
Our local mill which is one of the largest mills that produces 2x4s, 2x6s in the Northwest, they had a second fire. So earlier last year they had their planer. It was a planer, right? That burned down, and then
Hot fire.
Yeah, and the whole building that was in, because that tool it's not like a little hand planer. It's ginormous belt system, everything else. Well, just recently their bandsaw, their cutting room, burned to the ground, and the owner's just like, "We're done."
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm not here saying, someone was there with Tinder and matches going, "Oh, look, insurance." I wouldn't say that. Some people might. I would never say that because I could be sued. But Livingston's losing,
well, and it's not just the Livingston facility. I think it's also, there's a second facility that's also.
Oh, really? They're shutting that one down too? Mm-hmm. Oh. So that's going to affect lumber prices. Lumber prices are going up.
What I'm hearing is buy land and buy your own planer. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's definitely it. So, yeah.
And then call us.
Yeah, they call me. Zap says, diesels have expensive catalytic converters and NOx sensors. Ask me how I know. I'd be willing to punch an EPA enforcement officer, even if they were on the NFL roster. I'm pissed. Yeah. Any recommendations on S10 storage in bed of truck? I know. I'm not an S10 guy. I believe it or not, I know way more about Fords. I grew up, my biological father sold Fords. He ran his own side business. He would fix up BMWs, Mercedes, Porsches, European cars, and then sell them at auctions. He lived in Phoenix, and he would fix up these cars. Any kind of European car he could get at a good deal. Then he'd drive it up to Vegas for auctions and stuff. So I grew up around a lot of those. But then all the new cars in my whole father's side of the family all moved from the Midwest to Phoenix when I was little. So I remember my grandmother drove an LTD. My grandfather drove the Econoline van. My dad always had a Bronco or something else. And I grew up around Ford, so I know Ford trucks, at least the older Ford trucks. And I'm a Dodge guy myself, so I've got Dodge. But Chevy, I really am not on top of. So I'm sorry. I remember the S10s.
This one's got a little snoot.
Yeah. Boop. Sorry, it had to happen. So no, I'm not the guy to ask for about S10 stuff. The modder says, just put a Remander motor on my 95K 1500. Total about $6,000. Motor, all of my parts. Worth the money when you compare newer rigs. It hurts looking at that and you're like, oh, I can't believe you did this. But when you compare it with how much a new rig's going to cost, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. By the way, if anybody knows a good late model Bronco, not the newer ones, but when they were, towards the end of the original production run, I would love to get my hands on one of those. I'm still looking for an around town kind of car. The new Ryobi flashlight $50 doesn't even have a magnet on it. Let's see here. Mark Olson, hello. I'll tell you one too. Ridgeline is a truck. Okay, I've got to talk about this. I get it, and I look at Ridgelines and I'm like, oh, there's somebody who's LARPing that he's a truck guy. Here's something else. It's a Honda. They always seem to run. They get decent gas mileage. They can carry some stuff. And last I checked, every Ridgeline that entered the Baja 1000 didn't just finish, it podiumed in its class. Not a Honda guy. Not saying it's a great truck. I'm just saying that you can't ignore that. There's something there. And I told my son, I'm like, maybe you should get a Ridgeline. He loves off-road racing, so I'm like, get a Ridgeline. You can get those things dirt cheap. He's like, never. I'd rather die. I'm like, or Podium in the Baja 1000. Anyway, let's keep going here. I know I'm way behind here. I'm behind. You're behind. Oh, we're trying to keep this family friendly. The Craig says, I lived in the Bay Area my whole life and never been wanted to go to Alcatraz. I spend most of my time trying to avoid places like that.
I hear you. It was really cool though.
Chris says the Bauer and new Hercules bags are awesome at Harbor Freight. I'm sure you'll get a bag that'll fit your circular saw perfectly. I've got one stuffed to the gills right now in the back of my truck, so I have no doubt that it can fit a circ saw in it. It's got an impact, a full-size impact. It's got 2 sets of impact sockets in it, some deeps and some shallows. It's got a whole set of ratcheting wrenches, another set of standard box wrenches, some work gloves. What else? It's got a bunch of other stuff in it. So if I can fit all that, you can fit a circ saw in it. I think DeWalt is just overpriced Black & Decker now. Not now. It always was. I can remember my boss when I was 20. I had to be 20.
Last week.
Well, I remember because I was sneaking into bars when I was underage. So
that's wrong, and you should never.
And you shouldn't do that.
Mm-mm.
And if my father hadn't been an absentee father, I would have. I would have had great guidance and moral standings. Anyway, standards. I can remember. This is back when I was doing construction. I remember we're at Home Depot and looking through, and I was looking at all the power tools and stuff like that. And I went, "Oh, what do you think about this new brand, Black & Decker? I'm hearing lots of good things." And my boss being like, "That is just some stupid, overpriced Black & Decker." And I thought he was making a metaphor, like it's as cheap and as bad as Black & Decker. And then I found out later, no, it's actually owned by Stanley Black & Decker, and it is Black & Decker. They just, in fact, that's what it is. They tried to sell professional tools as Black & Decker Pro, and no one would buy them. So they did a bunch of marketing stuff and focus groups, and came up with black and yellow and as the color, and the DeWalt as the name. And they just changed the color and changed the name, and now they're the 800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to power tools. Greg says, found another place in Omaha that sells DeWalt, Nebraska Furniture Mart. Interesting.
Military retired home projects. My wife helped me so much with the house. She installed insulation, drywall, mud, and tape, and did most of the painting. Super awesome. She's a keeper. I'm sure you already knew that.
She didn't grow up doing any of that kind of stuff, but on our last house, one in California, before we sold it, we refurbished a bunch. We had to redo one whole room, and she really got into it. She's like, this is fun. I love this.
I think I would really like demoing.
The demo part's the part you like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like putting it all back together, but that's much more like fiddly kind of stuff, and that's not me. I'm like, what? We need to take a wall out? I'm into it.
Yeah. And not have it fall on you. Did the SK people wear red shirts and talk about their tools being on Temu now? No, they didn't. But oh my gosh, Temu has been pestering the snot out of me, going, we want to sponsor videos. We want to sponsor videos. I'm like, I'm not interested in sponsoring videos. She wants to order some stuff from Temu.
Landon, I got super excited. It says tacos all the way. I thought it said tacos on the way, and I'm like, I'm into that.
Sorry.
Dark fur.
Beard. Tacos. Are we talking Toyotas? Tacomas? Any update on DeWalt and Home Depot? No, but I got feelers out trying to get some more information on that. What he's talking about is, I've heard rumors now from multiple sources. At this point, I've had like half a dozen people contact me saying that they work at Home Depot and that they're hearing whisperings that they're going to drop. As soon as the contract comes up for renewal, if they don't get like really just amazing terms, they're going to just drop DeWalt. And at this point, I could see it because Home Depot has so focused on vertical integration with TTI I don't think they care if they've got DeWalt at this point. Has Harbor Freight given a definite date on when the U.S. General Series? No.
No.
Harbor Freight never gives a definite date unless it's like now. It's in store now. And even then, it's kind of questionable. On top of that, Harbor Freight always misses estimated times. All right? I don't think they lie. I think they are... What's the word I'm looking for?
They're optimistic.
They're overly optimistic. And having done a lot of project management, I understand how these things go. Nothing almost never comes through on time. So if somebody says, basically with Harbor Freight is, it's going to be a 3 to 6 month swing from basically the time they say it's going to be. I think it's still going to be spring, but I think it's going to be late spring, right on the edge of summer, that we're going to start seeing those roll out. Mark says, I liked S10. I had an 80s was a low problem thing. Okay. There were S10 work trucks everywhere when I was working. That was the default work truck. My boss had he had one of the first, what do you call it? I don't know if it was one of the first ones I saw. The Toyota, I don't know if it was a Tacoma or what it was back then. But I remember it was I love that truck. It was a 4x4, but you had to get out and lock the hubs. And it had I'd call it a king cab. I don't know what they call it. It had the extended cab kind of thing. 2-door. It was a great looking truck. Ran like a top. I was driving I think I had a CJ7 at the time. Not really much of a work truck.
You're trying to catch up.
Okay, fine. Evolve from Earth says, I own a 2006 Ridgeline with 80,000 miles on it. Love the truck. See? There you go. Ridgeline is not cheap, LOL. My 06 with 80,000 miles is worth $13,000. I see a lot of cheap ones for sale compared to comparable trucks. Nissan Pathfinder is another one I see that's kind of cheap compared to the competition. Honda's the only thing I own and have driven for the past 20 years. Evolve from Earth says, I own a 2006 Ridgeline, which 7 years. It's had 7 years. Best car I've ever owned. The Chevy S10 under the sheet metal is... I think you mean an Isuzu. I think that's what they were trying to say before. I've had a Isuzu. I had an Isuzu Trooper. It was actually a nice little, SUV to drive. Smoke and mirrors on DeWalt. Let's see here. I found Cobalt Craftsman DeWalt at Ollie's discount store. I have heard people talk about Ollie's. We don't have Ollie's out here. I don't know anything about them. Steven says demo equals brute force and ignorance. Build equals finesse. Not exactly true. So I know this because I did a lot of it. And at first I thought that was the case until I almost brought a roof down on my head. I did break a full, like a 8-foot piece of glass over my head trying to pull it out. What?
I think that's what he said when you're demoing.
That's brute force and ignorance? Yeah, no. You need to use finesse because if you use brute force, you're going to hurt yourself. Or, yeah. Anyway.
I'm brute forcing it.
My favorite claim to fame is I once cut a house in half with a Sawzall. I did. Ryobi is better than DeWalt. Ryobi is better than, I would rather get, the brushed Ryobi than the brushed DeWalt. And I like the HP stuff from Ryobi, but it's not at the same level as the DeWalt XR or even the Atomic series. Toyota Hilux. Man, can you imagine if we could get Hiluxes here?
Yeah.
Thinking they'd let me mount an M60 in the back, go full technical with it. What? Only thing definite at Harbor Freight is that it's a super sale and everything must go. 3 days only. Inventory clearance. Everything must go. Or at least we hope you'll buy everything. Zap says, I'm so pissed the Hilux didn't get to the United States. I know. There were some Nissans, like the Nissan, is it the Pilot? What is it? The Nissan made a great one that I wish it made it to the U.S. Ravnev says, loves Ollies. Mark, the Frontier, you can't beat the engine, runs forever. Toyota was a T100, then became the Tundra, I believe. Our neighbor in Montana has a legit T100. I wonder if I paint another 0 behind it, it'll turn into the Terminator. I should talk to him about it. Maybe we can do a review on his. Dr. Falcon says, I drive a Ram. Same here. Although, for me, it's still weird not to see Dodge when I look at Ram trucks, and I don't see Dodge on the back of it. The no camping in the park. Yes. Yep. Ollie's is a pretty good store. Sometimes get their good stuff for cheaper than the regular retail. All right. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to call it at this point because I'm getting stuffy again. And we need to turn the heat on in here. And I need to take some meds or something. So anyway, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry we've been so out of touch. We've just been sick and recuperating. But we're back. Yay. Anyway, thanks everyone who joined us today. Thanks for everyone who's helped us out with Super Chats. You guys are fantastic. Thanks a lot to our mods that's everyone with the cobalt blue name behind, or wrench behind their name. If you're a mod, put a link to your channel down below. And if you're not a mod,
go check them out.
Click on one of those links and go check them out because they do a lot to help out this channel. They keep me on the straight and narrow. They smash trolls and they help out with lots of other stuff. So show them some love too, and it'd be awesome to see you, helping lift the whole community up there. And also a huge thank you to all of our community members there. That's everyone with the bear behind their name. The color of the bear denotes how long you've been a member, and red is the oldest. So thank you to all of you, but especially our senior bears, as it were. I know some of you had to change cards and it change the color of your bear, and I'm really sorry if there
isn't a way for us to fix that.
I had a mod thing where I could do that. I would do it, but it doesn't let me do that. But thank you so much. We really appreciate the support. If you're interested in that, there's a link down below. Anybody I'm forgetting? Thank you, God, for the blessings of yet another day on this earth, spending with our friends and family and our Labrador.
And just a great community. You guys are all what makes up our great community. So we super appreciate you guys all have your own thoughts and opinions, and you all help each other out.
Anyway, that's all we got for you today. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.